Working on putting the office workspace together here, slowly but surely, coming along. Lots more to do, not enough time to do it, but we're fixing to jump in to assembling the preheater and the ignition wad assembly with the shooter leads and the injector final assembly for the final install for the journey across the desert to come. Alright, let's get rolling. My hand, still in a cotton glove, but it's doing a lot better. Mobility, still just very pressure sensitive, and if I grab something too hard or too tight, I quickly know my limits and it'll blood blister pretty easily. So this is our preheater ignition wad. We got our 8 electric matches. This has all been pre-assembled in a previous video, and what we're going to do now is we're going to correctly size and solder all these matches together and terminate them to the shooter ignition lead set, which runs down the core along with the breakaway fill lines. We're going to do final assembly, flight hardware on the R10,000 standard injector. Knockdown cup, injector body, reduction throat, O-ring boss with O-ring on the reduction throat, piston, arrow spike, style piston, drop piston, and then the cap or end cap, black powder chip cap, whatever you want to call it. O-ring seal, definitely blew that. O-ring seal goes on the back side of the body. So we're gonna go ahead and do the final assembly of this with the chip. This is the flight hardware chip, number 0, pressed 7/21/2023 by me. Fuses inserted, black powder chips in there. These are stored in a Pelican case with desiccant, and they're also in the office under air. So previously I've already done the wipe down on all these parts with denatured alcohol, or excuse me, not denatured, 99.9% isopropyl. And my hands are as clean as they're gonna get, and this is the only left-hand glove I have left that's still usable. So lube, Krytox, oxygen safe. There's a myth behind that. Technically, you're supposed to use Krytox. You can get away with using Super Lube, which works just fine with hybrid motors. I wouldn't use Super Lube with straight oxygen, but I've used it with hybrids and nitrous motors for 10 plus years now. So Let's go ahead and get this all done. So this has already been wiped out. It's been pre-lubed. If you can look in there, there is the PTFE backing ring and the X Profile -022 O-ring. Like I said, this has all been pre-lubed. This is just a little bit of extra. Lube ain't gonna hurt nothing. The little bitch is sharp. Piston, body. It's a really good fit. Now it's in. Now we'll seat it. That's seated. Gonna get any of that excess grease off of the face of that piston, because that's where this black powder chip sits. Piston, body, check. So we're gonna do a thin layer of grease so this piston won't drop because it's lubed and it's a good fit. Do a thin layer of grease in these threads. About as tight as I can squeeze with this left hand. Piston seated. This set of threads now has grease on it. You can see the arrow spike in there. There's the tip. See the pistons nested all the way in the top of the body. Get my dirty fingerprint off of there. Now we're going to take the throat, flip the body, get any schmutz out of there, any FOD. Don't need any FOD in an injector. A little bit of grease, man. go. See that taper? Looks good. Nice fit. Reverse thread to start it till it drops. Drops. Started. Threaded down. Hand tight. Paper towel grip. I got no grip with my left hand. This is going to be interesting. Hand tight. Body, piston, throat assembled. Make sure that piston's still seated and hasn't moved back. Piston's still seated. Matter of fact, let me just double check how that seat feels. Back bottom end of a plastic screwdriver. Data Q screwdriver. Data Q, good stuff. Get it centered on that spike and piston dropped. You can tell that's a nice fit. Back flush 90, seat the piston. Piston seated. Grease on the outside of those threads. Just want to get it out from inside where that black powder chip's gonna sit. Nice. Okay, Flight Hardware, black powder chip. Fucking bags are a bitch, man. Make sure I got any grease off my fingertips. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing here. I gotta get the hell out of here. Ashley's waiting on me. Time delay fuse, black powder chip. Straight through hole. You can see a tiny dab of super glue to retain that chip. Notice how that super glue does not go all the way around it. Just on one side. There's a reason for that. True to hole. Chip sits flush up against the body of the cap. Now, what I do, I know that's at 90, and I know it's hard to see vertically, but basically I'll drop that down. And this chip fits in here very nicely. Thread it left hand to start it till it drops. Once it drops, Now, this side of here, this is trash. Love these bags. Desiccant. Knockdown cup. O-ring, which I'm not going to put on yet. I guess I can put it on. Final injector assembly. Not kinking that TD fuse. Pushing as much of the air out of the bag as I can, and sealed. Flight ready. Good to go. Time to go home.